Hello and welcome to my space here. This is going to be the extended reading for my Tarot Tuesday weekly guidance and energy update for the week of November 10th through the 16th. But whenever you come across this, regardless of the date, know that these messages are meant for you. Trust and receive. I like to remind you that your intuition is your highest guide above all else, so definitely listen to that above any of the messages you receive from me. And to remind you that gender does not apply here. I sometimes use he or she for masculine and feminine purposes, but we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So with that being said, this is the extended read from the blog that I did for this week. So if you would like to receive more messages, you can go ahead and click the link that I've added in the box, in the information box below to check that out if you'd like. And you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram for more content there, and I'll leave that information below as well. But for this week, we're going to get right into it, and I pulled what we needed to know for this week. So the messages from the blog are going to be from what we need to know, and then from this reading I will do what you are not seeing clearly and what the advice is for this week. So if you're here from reading the blog, then thank you for reading. And the first card that we have is Justice, and I love this representation of justice from this deck. And because I love the bat, first of all, but I love the purple color, and it was funny because I'm wearing purple today, and I was really drawn to the color purple. To me, the color purple represents like the crown chakra, so I was feeling this energy of feeling like things are, there's this energy of like things being balanced, but there's also this contrasting energy of where you might feel like things are really unfair or unjust or not working out for you, or you feel like life is working against you, because with that I pulled Serendipity. But it came in reverse, and this card coming in reverse says like things, you might have had certain expectations of a certain outcome or how things were supposed to unfold in your life. And if you're very detail oriented and you're really like physically material obsessed, and you don't really give much thought or time to your being or your spiritual self, then this could maybe feel like something unfair is happening to you. But this is saying like everything is, you're being directed and you're being divinely guided. It's really about a shift in perspective. And when we begin to, find the harmony within ourselves by really developing a very strong relationship to our shadow self, and that was kind of what I was picking up. This energy of justice is this energy of this light and dark, and balancing our light energy and our dark energy, our shadow and our light, and really finding that inner peace, that inner harmony, right? Which then allows for us to see that reflected in our relationships. And because remember, justice is represented by astrological sign of Libra, and Libra to me is the sign of relationships and love, and it's also this energy of justice and balance and equality. And if you look at the world today, and the things that are going on, by creating this inner harmony within ourselves, we'll begin to see it in the external world, even if it's not happening, because the idea is to create that inner harmony and that inner security within yourself, even when the world is disarray, even when things are shit's going down and things are uncertain and things are unknown and you don't know where your life is headed. I was picking up with this energy of this Serendipity card, can you allow the divine to carry you, to kind of sweep you away, and make it more letting go of things that are hard, or things that we're addicted to, or things that we're familiar with, or that are we've identified with. And this can be emotions, this can be people, this can be locations, this can be jobs, this could be anything for so many different people. So take what resonates for you. But as as you're working to feel this more sense of peace and harmony within yourselves, this is gonna, we're gonna need to let go of these things that aren't these things. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time getting this message across, but letting go of the things that aren't causing us peace. So if you notice, there's things in your life, like relationships, are being highlighted right now. So, and that was a huge message, like I said, with justice and Libra, relationships are a huge message right now. And so many people are coming face to face with their shadow through their relationships. Their relationships are acting as a mirror to help them, heal their wounds so that they can expand, so they can evolve, so they can grow and become better versions of themselves. But a lot of times we don't use relationships in this way. We don't use them to become better people of ourselves. We use them to unconsciously project all our doubts, our worries, our fears, our insecurities onto the other person, so that we don't have to sit with them anymore. And we do this in all relationships of all kind, but our intimate relationships are the most deeply impacted, in my opinion. But this is really important for children too. Sometimes we unconsciously project all our hopes and dreams and desires onto our children, and we completely miss who they are. We don't get to know who they are on a soul level, and they have to abandon themselves and be who they think they want us to be in order to be loved and accepted by us. So as we begin to do this energy, this work of accepting ourselves, and that was kind of this energy I'm picking up on, when we accept our shadow, and it's Scorpio season, guys, so, we're diving deep into the shadow. Our shadow is being highlighted. We're face to face with our shadow. It's like, hello, it's right in our face, and it can be so easy to deny or run away or hide from these feelings, whether you like these feelings. And these, for some of you, these emotions are going to be very high vibrational, loving, and joyful. And if you haven't really experienced those things, like those emotions can be very unfamiliar. So really embodying the energies of joy and love and connection and peace as your baseline, so that you can become a container to receive more and more and more of that energy, more peace, more love. You can always receive more and more. But because your nervous system is always being shaped. So it's being shaped by your thoughts, it's being shaped by your environment. But a lot of times we allow our emotions to become our identity. We become addicted to lower base emotions like anger or shame or stress even. And so we put the only way that we can feel, because we've denied our joy, we've repressed our joy, our happiness, our well-being, because we've neglected that part in order to be, for me, example, I grew up in a home where I had like depressed and anxious parents, and so they weren't very present, they weren't very joyful, they weren't very happy, they weren't very peaceful. So I neglected all those, those higher vibrational emotions within myself in order to be accepted by my tribe. So I had to learn how to hate myself. I had to learn how to, feel very stressful, how to feel burdened and overwhelmed and tired and exhausted all the time. But that's not our natural state. Our natural state, when we connect with our soul, is revitalizing, it's uplifting, it's invigorating, it gives you so much joy and happiness, and it gives you like this unlimited supply of energy, right? But a lot of times we become addicted to these lower based energies because they keep us stuck in our smallness, they keep us stuck in shame and doubt and fear. And then, we can stay victim, right? And we can say, oh, life is always working against me, like, this is so terrible, and like my life sucks, and we can be like really negative, and we can get stuck in those negative patterns and say, oh, poor me, and we can throw ourselves pity parties, rather than, meeting our shadow, meeting our doubts, our worries, our fears, our insecurities, and saying, hey, where can I help you feel better about yourself? And there's this energy of reconnecting with our inner child. And when we begin to, think of your inner child as always in a constant meditative state. So what did you enjoy doing as a child, and doing more of that? Practicing every single day feeling joyful, practicing every single day feeling at peace, whether it's for 5 to 10 minutes, and you work your way up to that. But you should be, it's your responsibility to create those emotions of joy and peace and connection and love. It is not your children's responsibility. It is not, your friends or your partner's responsibility to make you feel those feelings. And I think a lot of times, I know from my own personal experience, we were taught that, our emotional states are dependent on other people's. And if somebody else is feeling angry, rather than using that anger if it triggers anger in you, if somebody's being angry at you and it triggers your own unconscious anger, and you want to fight back and you want vengeance, and you want to put them down and call them a name because they just called you a name, that's going to create more disharmony. But if you can meet that anger from this place of recognizing your own anger, being present with your anger, and choosing consciously to respond from compassion and love and acceptance, and responding from love, like what would Jesus do? What would love do? Ask yourself that before retaliating or shouting or screaming or causing an argument. Like how can you diffuse it and create harmony with your peace, with your free will choice to be loving and kind and compassionate and open, rather than guarded. And what we're really doing is creating barriers in our heart so that we can't actually open up to receive more love, because we've been taught that love is pain, or that we've been hurt by love, and so we don't allow ourselves to experience it in the same way anymore. And so, we stay guarded to it, and it's easier to become hard, it's easier to become cold, it's easier to become mean, and it's easier to become disconnected and numbed out than it is to sit with your feelings, express them through your creativity, move your bodies in ways that are going to support you and move your emotions. Like when you're feeling really low, rather than feeding your negative thoughts and distracting yourself through social media, or distracting yourself with food, or distracting yourself with unhealthy relationships, how can you cultivate happiness, joy, peace, love for yourself when you're in those moments? How can you choose to uplift yourself with your words, with your actions? Because that's what's gonna, that's what's gonna carry you through too. That's what's gonna create more space for you to feel harmony and peace. And I think that's what we're seeking here. So, and I love that justice was number 11, because this week is 11/11. So, happy 11/11, woohoo! I love 11/11, and I started to see that a lot as I began to awaken into me. Is that energy of like, and I was picking up on this message of like a lot of people are stuck in this pattern of like wanting a partner to complete them, and this really deeply stems from like a disconnect from our soul that we've created in early childhood, and then we seek it in our intimate relationships when we grow up. And so really learning how to reconnect with your inner child and connect with your darkness and create this sense of harmony with your light and your dark, then it creates two wholes. And that's what I see 11:11 as. It's like it's two wholes coming together rather than like trying to complete each other. That's old news. That's old era. Like, we're not dealing with that anymore. We're not living like that anymore. You're being very distracting. And allowing ourselves to feel more harmony and peace, which is going to feel unfamiliar. If you're used to relationships being chaotic and always blowing up, like, look at your patterns from your parents. How did your parents relate? That's probably how you're going to relate. If your parents fought and called each other names and put each other down, or, acted really cold to each other, acted like they didn't really like each other, or really distant. There's this energy of feeling like people are in relationships, but in those relationships they're feeling very alone. They're feeling very disconnected. So it's like they're using the relationship to make them feel less abandoned, but they're still feeling abandoned in the relationship. So it's really this wound of like, how can you reconnect with your heart? How can you reconnect with joy? Think of joy as your inner child. How can you reconnect with doing things that make you feel happy? And there's this energy, like the energy of justice. Like I said, there's more messages in the blog. So let's get into what we're not seeing clearly this week, Spirit. Because there's lots of messages coming through. So what are we not seeing clearly? Okay, 5 of Cups, yes. So with this, like I was saying, when we're letting go of things, there's going to be loss, there's going to be grief, there's going to be sadness. That's exactly what the 5 of Cups is. The 5 of Cups is just grief and loss and sadness. And sometimes when things don't go the way we like hoped or planned or expected, especially in our relationships, like sometimes we may have gotten into a relationship and we're like, oh, it's definitely going to go this way, and we had all these expectations, and then, it's not working out the way that we like hoped or imagined. And instead of like clinging on to the breadcrumbs or clinging on to like what's left and like feeling miserable, and like if you notice like the life being sucked out of you because of a relationship, if a relationship makes you feel exhausted, if it makes you feel like you're not good enough, if it sucks the life out of you, if it makes you feel lifeless, then it is not meant for you, and it's time to let it go. But sometimes we put all our effort and all our time and all our energy to making this relationship work, even when it's not working, that we literally tire ourselves out so much that we exhaust ourselves that we can't ever, we don't have any peace or any joy left to give anything, like to our partners or to our children. And we feel this is like a card of depression. I'm feeling that people are feeling very depressed right now, feeling very sad, and it's because they're not letting these emotions go, right? So they're clinging on, and a lot of times what happens, I'm picking up on a lot of grief. And when we're going through evolutionary changes and our planet is changing and we're just moving through a lot of things, we're gonna feel grief because we're letting go of the past, right? And you can see our past is being let go, like with the political scene that's like just ended. There's going to be a lot of grief right now, so allow yourself to express your feelings. You're going to have moments where you feel angry, where you're going to feel sad, where you're going to feel just confused, lost, lonely, abandoned. You're going to feel those emotions, and you have to feel them to the fullest. And one of the greatest ways to handle grief and to deal with grief is to turn it into creativity. How can you allow your emotions to, and your emotions are your guide. So when you're feeling deep feelings of loss, when you're feeling sad, it's not there to torture you, right? It's there to help you reconnect with who you truly are, because when we feel depression, when we feel really sad, it's just because we're disconnected. And so how can we reconnect with our hearts? And think of this right now as like our hearts are opening, and only for our hearts to expand and receive more, we have to let go, right? We have to let go of that past pain, let go of that past hurt, let go of the resentment, let go of the anger, let go of all of it, the abandonment, the betrayal, letting go of all these, lower based emotions, feeling them. It might feel very, like I'm hearing the word cathartic, it might just feel very like, and just surrendering and like feeling, I'm feeling like this energy of like feeling dead, like just feeling depleted, right? So like feeling exhausted. And sometimes when we hide our emotions and we mask them and we act like everything's okay when really we're deeply not okay, this creates a lot of resentment. This causes a huge blockage in the heart chakra, and I'm feeling a huge blockage in the heart chakra. Come to me, Archangel Raphael, please infuse us with, connecting with the energy of water, But also in the original depiction of the Five of Cups, there's this man kind of wearing this cloak, and there's 3 cups that have fallen in front of him, and he's focused on those, but there's 2 cups that are still standing behind him. So it's like, there's still hope for the future. And right now, a lot of people, the energy of Five of Cups is this energy of hopelessness, despair, grief, loss. Like the future looks bleak, like you have no hope, and we can feel that way, right? And that's that energy of like feeling like a victim, feeling like these injustices, feeling like life isn't working out for you. And when we're in those energies of grief, we're gonna feel that way. But if we don't allow ourselves to express, and then those energies of grief and anger and sadness, they get stuck, and then we begin to identify with them. And then, it's important to remember that you are not your emotions, and just because you're feeling these lower based emotions does not mean that's who you are. We a lot of times we become very identified to the thoughts in our head and the chatter in our mind as who we are. But you have to remember that your thoughts and your feelings are not who you are. Who you are is when you're completely in the presence of your own spirit, and you're transcending your emotions, you're transcending your thoughts, and you're just there's this energy of needing to create peace, I'm feeling. Because when you're in these lower vibration emotions, that's when you're going to be the easily triggered. So right now, lots of anger, lots of sadness, lots of remorse, lots of regret, all coming to the surface. Let it. Get it out. Cry, dance, sing, write, create, paint, stomp. Be very conscious of how you're directing your energy. And notice if you're like unconsciously projecting onto your partner your anger, your sadness, your abandonment. Like, just watch yourself this week. Be kind, compassionate, gentle. Like this little sweet. I think it's a goose there. Just gentle and kind. What else though with the Five of Cups that we're not seeing clearly? Okay, fork in the road in reverse. This came up recently. Okay, the fork in the road in the verse is saying that. I'm actually going to read it because it's this energy of when it comes in reverse, it's this energy of feeling like if you're like, by not making a decision, you're making a decision. So let's see here though, I want to read it. Indecision is extremely frustrating and will lead to anxiety, loss, and confusion. That's Five of Cups, holy moly. At this juncture, you can't remain in a place without losing your way altogether. Avoid the tendency to let others choose for you, which amounts to a subtle refusal to take responsibility. Don't give your power away, not even to this oracle. By not making a choice, you are making a choice for which you must be accountable. If that choice leads to undesirable circumstances, take heart. Spirit never tires of giving you second chances. You can always start again once you've learned the valuable lesson. So to me, this is what was kind of coming up in the blog, is this energy of like, it's not our partners or our parents or our friends or our families or the world's responsibility to make us feel a certain way and to make us feel loved or to make us feel seen and heard and accepted and validated. It's nobody's responsibility but our own. So if you're feeling stuck and you're feeling low and you're feeling grief and you're feeling sadness, how can you create those emotions of joy and peace and acceptance and love for yourself on your own? How can you, instead of becoming reliant? So I think that's the choice, the decision that needs to be made if you're feeling this indecision. Like, you want somebody to come save you, you want somebody to come take care of you, you want somebody to make you better, you want somebody to make you feel better, but the only person that can do that is you. So how can you get yourself out of bed? How can you make your bed? How can you do little things, just little tiny things every single day that help you, move forward, that help you have hope, things that you can look forward to doing every single day so that life doesn't seem like it's working against you or that it's awful or it's terrible. How can you use life to help you express more of who you are? So I think there's just this energy of indecision is what we're not seeing clearly right now. But let's get into the advice for this week. What is your advice for us this week, Spirit? Okay, the world, which I love because this came up 2 weeks ago. I took last week off. So, yeah, the world. This is the completion of a cycle, the ending of a cycle, something coming full circle. And I just love the energy on this card. It's like this energy of feeling, and it's very colorful. So if things have felt kind of dark or, bleak or not, they just haven't been working in your favor, I just am feeling this energy that everything is happening for you in divine timing, that you can trust that things are, working out for you. And here we go with underneath the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles, which is this energy of abandonment, this energy of loss, this energy, but it's coming in reverse too, which I don't necessarily read in reverse, but in the reverse, it kind of feels like this energy of this is leaving, this scarcity, this lack mindset is ending, and the advice is to, complete this cycle by, choosing love. What would Jesus do? What would love do? In every moment, you have to choose love. And that is kind of like, that's the mission, that's the lesson. So the fork in the road, every time you're at, a certain decision, you can choose from love or you can choose from fear. You can choose from love, you can choose from fear. You can choose from the past, you can choose from the present. You can choose from the past or you can choose from the present. And each moment throughout our day, life is just a series of choices. If you ever stop and think about it, we're just always making choices all the time. So I think that's the energy of like completing this cycle and knowing that we are the creators of our reality. We are creating this. So if we feel like we're stuck or feel like we're in this awful thing we can't escape, how can we create something different by the actions we choose to take? How can we speak towards ourselves with more kindness and respect? How can we be more loving and gentle towards ourselves rather than judging ourselves, shaming ourselves, putting ourselves down, especially in our grief and our saddest moments and our most uncertain moments? That's when we have to be the kindest to ourselves. If we beat ourselves up in our uncertainty, we're going to repeat the past over and over again. So if you can extend your self-compassion and love in your uncertainty, in your pain, in your grief, in your loss, in your sadness, that's going to create inner harmony. That's going to create the balance, the shift you're wishing to seek in the external world, and you're going to perceive that, and it's going to be a beautiful experience for you. I definitely believe that. So we've had, also you might be seeing the number 3 or 21 might be a synchronicity for you. We had 5, number 13 or 4, and also we had 18 or 9. So I always like to mention the numbers sometimes because they might means like something to you personally. So, and there's also butterflies on this card. There's a llama, there's an owl, and there's a monkey. So 4-leaf clovers as well. What is your advice with the world, Spirit? Things are wrapping up is what I hear, which I don't really know what that means, but okay, yes, I like this. This is the number 48, poised. And this is like feeling ready, feeling, poised. Okay, like actually I think I'm going to read this one to you too. Okay, here's my book. But it just feels like this energy of like, yes, you are ready. This is confirmation. If you were asking, like if you had a yes or no question, yes is the answer for whatever it was. Okay, it says being ready, bringing something to light, being your best, confidence, which I love that with the world. You can be assured that you are ready for anything right now. You know what you need to, your skills are sharp, you've come to this place armed with wisdom and knowledge, and you sense a new phase of your life about to begin. People respond to your confidence and trust you. This is an auspicious time to begin new things. Oh, I love that with the world too. It's like a new beginning because the world can also sometimes feel like an ending. So you might feel like something is ending, but there's also this new beginning. There's this rebirth, and kind of think of that. She has the world right there in her belly, like birthing, and we're literally birthing a new earth, and the time is now. Yes, if you have a new idea and you feel like this, idea especially is helpful, for maybe the planet or for Earth, or if you feel very called to the Earth, yes, the answer is yes. And I'm actually going to read the relationship message because I'm being guided to, and this was kind of about relationships. When you're confident and happy in your skin, you are ready for deeper, more intimate relationships. You have nothing to prove right now. You are completely yourself and can handle anything. Love, friendships, and harmonious new connections are all present now or are coming in. You're ready to give and receive from the heart. This is a beautiful place to be. Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful message. And truly, when we begin to love, from the heart, we begin to, when we get to reconnect with our heart, because remember that grief, that loss, that sadness, it's really, it's a teacher that's teaching us how to come back to our heart, how to love ourselves unconditionally in our deepest pain. Sometimes, as children, we weren't always loved very deeply in our anger or our sadness. Maybe we were rejected or abandoned or shamed or punished even for, having these emotions. But when we reconnect with that part of ourselves, it gives us that confidence. We feel really, confident in who we are because we have a really strong sense of who we are, and we're using our emotions to guide us, to help us understand us more clearly, right? And if we just neglect our emotions or abandon them or deny them, we're denying a part of ourselves, of our being. We're missing out on a crucial part of experiencing life when we deny our emotions, and then life does become sucky and shitty and bleak and hopeless. It feels that way because we're not connected to our emotions of joy and happiness and love. So, and yes, underneath the deck, tick-tock in reverse, number 30, or 3 again. So this is like, you may feel like time is working against you, or like you're running out of time. There's not enough time to do the things I need to do, but everything is always happening in perfect order. If you can remind yourself of that, you'll feel more at peace. I think that's what we're seeking here. So, all right. I'm going to be using the Lightworker Oracle this week to get an overall message. What do we need to know this week, Spirit? It's the overall message for us this week, I should say. Okay, yes, and number 33, so lots of 3s, Master Healing. I always really like this card. You can't really tell from the light, but, it's just like, and I love these blue flames. Oh, I'm picking up on Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron. So Archangel Michael is like this energy of this blue flame, and you can really use when you're healing and you're feeling very vulnerable, especially if you're healing your heart, and you're feeling very, if you're wanting to create more safety for yourself, surrounding yourself in this blue flame that you see on the card there that's coming out of the book. That's the energy of Archangel Michael and his blue ray of light. It's kind of like this blue flame that burns really hot, and it protects you from anything, so any outside sources that wish to create any fear or scarcity, the collective is right now, a lot of things that are happening in our world are really inducing a lot of fear and scarcity and uncertainty in people right now. And if we don't anchor our own energy and we don't protect ourselves energetically, we'll absorb it from the world. And so if you wake up right away in the morning, you're feeling bleak and hopeless and you're feeling a lot of grief, know that you're picking up on the collective energy, and how can you take your personal steps on an individual level to create more happiness and joy, and that ripples out. When you take that responsibility to create joy and happiness and love and peace for yourself, it expands you and it expands out to, reach other people, and that's beautiful. So let's read this here. I love the planets too. Oh yes, and then underneath this deck is grounding. So I love that too. It's a beautiful card of literally grounding, connecting to your roots. And I was feeling this energy of needing to connect with your roots. I love that she's naked on the card and she's bowing to the earth. So anyway, let's get into this Master Healing card, because I am feeling a lot of healing energies are coming through. As you meditate, remain true to what inspires your heart and commit to your spiritual path. You become an increasingly powerful healer. You are here to live your own life, to be true to what genuinely moves you. The unconditionally loving guide and ascend master, Serpius Bey, comes to you now with a blessing of master healing to further your success on your path. The master Serpius Bey, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, is a beloved guide for those who feel strong soul connection to ancient Egypt. Oh, I love that. For healers who are developing their own modalities and those who love to work with high frequency concepts. He also assists with the translation of spiritual inspiration into practical worldly plans. Oh, that's beautiful. He comes to confirm that the ascended masters are aware of you. You are an integral part of a powerful spiritual team that has taken physical incarnation to help awake consciousness into love. You are asked to tune into your heart. What do you love enough to overcome any obstacle to attain it? What motivates and inspires you? Now, what seems possible or practical, not what seems possible or practical, but what is authentic. We are most powerful when we serve authentically from the heart. A bird might learn how to dive underwater from time to time, but it is never going to be its most powerful if it has to live underwater. It would struggle to thrive if it were to force itself into such unnatural expression of its life energy. The bird yearns to fly because that is its divine nature and purpose. You too have divine nature and purpose, and your heart holds the clue. What feels most like you? It is difficult to access the truth of our own nature when we believe we should live up to the expectations of others. If we are attached to an outcome, no way, or afraid of an answer, we can unintentionally block our perceptive faculties, a spiritual version of sticking our fingers in our ears and shouting blah, blah, blah. The blessing of Serapis Bey includes his clear flame of divine cleansing light. This can assist us in letting go of whatever blocks us from knowing the truth of our nature. When we are willing to be who we are, the universe can more easily guide us to fulfill our destinies. Serapis Bey will help you see yourself truthfully. You may gain feedback from others that helps you understand the value of what you share, or you may simply find it easier to view yourself objectively with a compassionate, appreciative, and discerning inner eye. Yes, amen. As you learn and accept who you are, you become a more powerful vibration for masters to put use to the plan of love. And remember, ascended, I was talking about ascended masters, and I've said multiple times throughout this reading, what would Jesus do? He's an ascended master. If you have a dream in your heart, and that was with the world and poised, if you have a dream in your heart, know that it has been placed there for divine purpose. What you dream and desire contains the seed of divinity. It is meant to help you attract your life mission and fulfill it with love, joy, creativity, and pleasure. Oh, how on point. If you are willing to go through what is necessary for an outcome, it will happen for us. The details may appear different from what we imagined they would, but the truth remains. If you ask for something and are willing to go through the process required to have that come to life, it will happen for you. The universe that governs unconditionally is supportive and loving of you. It is your creative partner. It will provide you with all that you need to manifest your dreams, desires, and destiny. That was beautiful and on point, because remember I was saying at the beginning, there's this energy of like feeling like life is working against you, and this literally says the universe is that generous, unconditionally supportive, and loving of you. It is your creative partner. It will provide you with all that you need to manifest your dreams, desires, and destinies, meaning it's always working for you. It's working for you. Life works for you. Are you willing to do the work for life, or do you want to sell your soul for a job, right? So really, and I'm not saying to like quit your job or anything. I'm just saying doing inner work is just as valuable as, going to a job every single day. What are you willing to put in? How can you create more balance in your life, more work-life balance? How can you create more harmony, more love, and more pleasure and play in your life? Maybe you need more joy and happiness and connection. And maybe when you stop denying that to yourself, that's when you'll feel more connected and grounded and centered in who you are. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it was healing for you. I do private readings, so if you would like to book one, you can find that information below. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you next time. Take care.